Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because in this video, I just did a full face using Vieve Cosmetics. I've been a big fan of this brand for a while now, and I cannot wait to share with you how to get this beautiful look right here featuring this cool tone eye makeup. So if you want to see how I get this look, then keep watching. The first thing I actually want to start with, it is the Vieve Skin Dew Glow Multitasker. Now I had to actually pull this from my makeup kit because this is something I keep in my pro kit and I use on set. And it is an absolutely stunning product. So let me pull this out. And we're gonna prep our skin right away with the Vieve Skin Dew. So I'm gonna pour some, just a little bit on the top of my hand. This is a product that you need a very small amount of. And I've learned this many times the hard way by just putting way too much on the back of my hand like I probably am right now. It's extremely glowy. It is like the most wet, juicy glow. And it also feels really nice. It kind of feels like a lightweight serum. Lays great under makeup. It's also something that you can use to mix with makeup, like mix into your foundation. So let's say you have maybe a more full coverage matte foundation. You want to tweak the finish of it, get a different type finish with that one foundation. You can mix this product into different formulas and just tweak the finish. But look at how beautiful that glow is. I mean, it is very glowy. So the reason why I actually keep this in my pro kit is because, well, for this reason alone, right? It gives like this beautiful glass, glossy glow to your skin. But I also really love using this product on my client's décolleté. So around the collarbone, the top of the shoulders, right around here. It is just so stunning. And also for context, I wanted to share with you what I have underneath as far as skin prep goes. I have my Round Labs SPF 50 sunscreen, and this is gonna be like my base that I'm applying the foundation, also the Vieve Skin Dew on top of. So just so you know what is underneath. Okay, we're glowing, we're juicy. You know what? I'm actually gonna put a little tiny bit more on, and then we will start to get into the rest of the products I picked up while in London. So yeah, I've had this for a while now. I've been loving it for a long time now. Pretty fantastic formula. So I have one of the Vieve eyeshadow palettes, and she has many to choose from. However, a lot of them were sold out when I was shopping at I looked for Vieve at Harrods department store, and I also picked up most of the stuff from Space NK. And you'll already know that if you watched my previous Nikki Uncut 2 or 3 weeks ago. I shared everything I purchased during that shopping haul in London. But I picked up most of the Vieve products that I have in my possession at Space NK, including this stunning 90s palette. So, or 90s palette is how it's pronounced, 90s. It is a gorgeous, cool, truly cool tone, more smoky palette. I cannot wait to dip into this palette and actually create a look with it, but I love the names of the shades that she chose. There's 93, VHS, Soot, Low Rise, Dial Up, Acid Wash. I love the names. And this is a substantial palette too. Like that is it's like a brick, honestly. One thing I want to point out is when I was shopping for my Vieve products, I picked up this product. It's an eyeshadow primer. It's like a base. It's an eye wand, and I picked up the shade Hazelnut. In hindsight, I wish I picked up a neutral one to go with this cool tone palette, because this is just not gonna, it's gonna clash, because this is more of like a neutral warm brown, and I want to go fully cool tone gray with this eye makeup look. So we're gonna save this for another video and another time, but actually at the very minimum, let me just swatch it for you all. So that is the shade Hazelnut. We'll use it for, it'll be an excuse to do another Vieve inspired makeup look, right? So instead, I'm going to take another product that I picked up from Vieve. It is the concealer. It's the shade Light 4. I've already used this once and I really liked it. This is the Modern Radiance Concealer. It's a customizable coverage, it says on the back. Quite a large amount of product you get in this concealer. I do love the really big doe foot too. So I'm going to pop a little bit on my eyes just to cancel out obviously any pigmentation on my eyelids, and we're going to use this as an eyeshadow primer because again, I did not pick up the appropriate shade to go with this 90s palette. I could make it work, but again, I just want to keep it really true to the tones in that palette and keep it really cool toned. So I'm going to blend this all over with my N16 concealer brush, and it's going to act like our base. So very full coverage, just like it says. You know, you could customize it in a sense where, you know, you need a tiny bit just to cover anything, in my opinion. So less is more. And if you want to build up the coverage and really get like that really, really full on coverage, you could just apply a hefty amount. But it is customizable, I agree, in that sense, where if you just use a small amount, it could feel really thin and really lightweight. Also make sure you're prepping your skin properly for this concealer, because if you are starting with dry skin and not well hydrated, well moisturized under eyes specifically, it could look a little heavy. So just a little forewarning from what I've experienced so far. Now that that is on, we're going to take another product from Vieve. It is the Modern Powdered Perfector in the shade medium. It's the pressed powder. This packaging, can we talk about how luxe and beautiful this packaging is? It reminds me of like a vintage compact. It's giving such a great vintage vibes. I love all the packaging from Vieve. Is just absolutely stunning. I'm going to take my N14 brush with BK Beauty, dip into that powder, and we're going to set the concealer on the eyelids before we get into that 90s palette. Now, I haven't used this yet. I haven't even played it with it. I haven't swatched it or touched it. This will be the first time. Okay, it feels nice. It feels really soft and light, but it definitely gave me, I feel like, a little bit of coverage too. Like there's some pigment behind this powder. Slightly reminiscent of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. Has that kind of similarity to it, like as far as like the texture and the finish. So I'm grabbing a clean N13 brush with BK Beauty and we're gonna create a look together. I have no thought in my head as to what I wanna do with this look specifically. So we're gonna play and just create something together and see how it comes out. But I do wanna start with the shade Phase. I think Phase is gonna be a really good mid-tone to start this look with. Pop this a little closer. As always, I start in my crease. And I really don't wanna go too dark with this eye makeup look, because I also wanna have a slightly more bold lip liner, and I don't want it to be too clashy and just too much. So I'm gonna try to keep this somewhat daytime appropriate. So just blending Phase into the crease. It's a really pretty shade. It's like a very soft neutral gray. That's really pretty. It's like one of those perfect builder shades. You know, you pop in the crease and you build a look on top of that shade. It's a transition shade. It's a good neutral cool tone transition shade. Just shaping my eyes. And now I think I want to dip into, let's start to make this a little bit more gray. Let's dip into Supermodel. Let's see how these layer together. So far there's no fallout. I mean, nothing that I can see anyway. So tightly layering Supermodel in the crease. These are they almost feel like a silky formula. They have like a silkiness to them. The way they're blending on is really nice. Yeah, these are some nice formulas. And like barely any fallout when I'm tapping my brush into the palette. Pretty. And now let's go into Low Rise. Same brush. We're just building as we go. Gorgeous. I feel like when Jamie Genevieve wears this palette specifically, she's got these like striking blue eyes, and it just, everything against her blue eyes looks so gorgeous. I always get so jealous because the colors just pop so well. And not that I don't love my brown eyes. I love my brown eyes, but her eyes are just so incredibly striking that these gray tones against it are really like, they're really just, again, they're very striking. So hopefully we'll get a somewhat striking look. I don't typically love gray tones with my brown eyes. It's just a personal preference. And also just with my skin tone and my undertone, I'm more of a warm olive undertone. And cool tones just generally don't suit me as much as warm tones do. That's just natural. All that to say, I'm still very excited for this cool tone palette because it's out of my comfort zone, which is always a good thing, right? When you're playing with makeup, it's always good to step outside your comfort zone to some extent, right? And try new things. And I don't have a single palette that looks anything like this 90s palette. So I knew I had to get it, and I knew I had to I literally put down, there was a quad palette, like just a 4-pan palette. And it was all like neutral matte browns, like warm tone, earth tone browns. And I had that in my little basket for the longest time. And I put it back and I was like, first of all, I have 1.5 million neutral brown matte shadows. Like I don't need to buy another one, but I still want it. I still think about that palette because it was so beautiful. And again, the formulas, I swatched those formulas in store. They were fantastic. Okay, so just building up each outer corner of my eye, softly building up the intensity. You know, you want to kind of go slow and steady when you're building up gray tone shadows, I think, especially because the chances of them starting to look really muddy and just really kind of like just washed together are very high. So I want to try to keep somewhat of a separation between the tones I just layered and not have it all look like a jumbled mess and melt into one big color. So we're going to try to prevent that in this tutorial. And I'm gonna switch to, let's grab a good old faithful brush. I love this brush. I talk about this brush all the time. It's the Angie Hunt Flashy A502. This is a smaller blending brush from my N13 with BK Beauty. You can see it's much smaller. So I use this brush and I grab this brush when I want to have more of like a precision application with certain colors. So I'm taking this brush and I'm going to dip into, let's dip into a little bit of whatever, this shade right here. Tap off the excess. And again, we're slowly building up a look. And I have to be honest with you and warn you ahead of time. I goofed. I really totally goofed, and I forgot to get the liquid liners from Vieve. I swore to you, I can swear to you that I remember picking up a black liquid liner. I don't know if I honestly didn't get it in my bag. I actually want to check my receipts because I swear to you, I remember specifically picking up that black liquid pen liner. I remember it. I had it in my hand. I'm almost positive I had it in my basket, but I don't have it with me. So I don't know if I just didn't get charged for it. Maybe or maybe I did. I have to check my receipt, but I'm really bummed because when I was opening all my Vieve stuff for this video, I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh, where is it? I know I have it. I don't have it. And I also did not pick up the mascara. And that's because both places I went to go find my Vieve products, they were sold out of. So that wasn't really my fault entirely. But I heard that mascara is fantastic. So we're going to have to switch out for a different formula for this video. And just know that hopefully I'll pick it up soon and I'll talk about it and I'll review it in another video. But very sad about the liquid liner because I swear to you, I had it. I was buying it. Okay, same brush. I'm going to dip now into the last deepest shade, which is Soot. Layer even more. It's gonna look messy before it's cleaned up. Don't you worry. Very pretty. Stunning formulas. So you know what I wanna do? We're gonna switch things up, and which shimmer do I wanna go for? I wanna do a shimmer because they're just gorgeous. And we could either go VHS, we could go acid wash, or dial up. I'm thinking acid wash, so let's just go with my gut and let's dip into acid wash. These have almost a creaminess to the base, or at least they feel like they do, which I really like with my metallic or shimmer eyeshadows. And I'm just gonna place this, no surprise here, on the base of my eyelid. Wow, gorgeous. So out of my comfort zone, but in such a fantastic way. Really excited for this look. Really pretty. Let's go ahead and dip into Dial Up, the lighter shade. I'm gonna layer just right above my lashes. Just push this on top like that. This is turning out to be a really fun look. Very, very different from what you normally see on my channel. Okay, I like it. I have a couple little bits of shimmer in my eye that I popped in there on accident, but we're gonna live. So I don't have an eyeliner like I mentioned. Sadly, I goofed. Where did I goof? I'm so upset with myself. So it almost feels like it's just wrong to use another brand's liquid liner because she has such a fantastic liquid liner. So we're gonna make do. We're gonna pretend like this is Vieve. Instead, don't tell anyone. We're using the Benefit They're Real Extreme Precision Eyeliner. This is a really fantastic long wear black liquid liner. So I'm gonna apply this at the base. Don't worry, we still have to clean that up. Just drawing a nice little petite wing. So if you all have tried the Vieve liquid liner, leave me a comment. And I already know that I'm missing out, but tell me exactly why I'm missing out. If you've tried it and you like it, or if you have thoughts, leave me a comment and let me know, just so I can feel worse about it. Whew. Take a step back before my eyes start watering. Let's clean up this mess on the bottom. I'm gonna grab a pointed Q-tip, my micellar water, and let's just clean up these edges so we can see where we're at. Okay, we're cleaned up. I did wipe off quite a bit of moisture under my eye. So I'm gonna go back to an eye cream. This is Bobbi Brown. It's the Vitamin Enriched Eye Base. Take a really small amount, like a really small amount. If you use too much of this product, or any eye cream for that matter, it will pill underneath your makeup. So just a forewarning. So just a little bit more eye cream since I wiped off all that moisture. And again, like I mentioned earlier, you want to have a good amount of moisturizer, or just some moisture under your eyes before you apply that slightly more thicker concealer. So let's put that aside. Let's do some mascara to finish this up because again, I don't have the Vieve one. We're gonna cry about it again another time. Let's move on. I'm gonna use the YSL Lash Clash instead, and I think this will do this look justice. Now I know this mascara is not cheap, but if you ever want to treat yourself to really fantastic luxury mascara that gives you like full-on drama and like everything you need in a mascara. Just get it. You won't be disappointed. In fact, you'll message me and be like, that mascara is so fantastic. It's worth every penny. And I feel like coming from me, that says a lot because I am such a drugstore mascara fan. I love my drugstore mascaras. I love them. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money on mascaras to get a good one at all. Never have thought that. But there's something about this mascara that just is, forget about it. My bottom lashes have gone kind of wild and out of control, and they always clump with my top ones now. So I have to be very careful. I have been hooked on these. They're from the drugstore. We'll actually get them from Ulta. They're pretty inexpensive. I think they're like $5 a pair, excuse me. They're not like the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. But they're the Velour London. They're a 3/4 length lash. And if you know me, if I have lash strips, I always cut them into like either half or at the most 3/4. These are so fantastic. So I just restocked the 2 pairs that I like the most. And I think let's add these for this look. Let's just add them. I'll make sure I link these also below. But they're just a really soft, wispy style, and they're not too heavy. Like they just add a little something without being too much. I cannot. I love these so much. If you try them, you'll be obsessed too. Trust me. Just grabbing my scissors because I need to cut this package open. They really seal these up nice and tight. They give you a really nice natural lash look. Like they're just not too dramatic, which I really like. I don't really use the glue. I save it for like touch-up kits, basically. Instead, I like to use my Velour lash glue. This is just my current favorite lash glue. It's a fantastic glue. Let me grab my tweezers, my MAC tweezers, and I'm just gonna run the glue all along the band like that. Dry this down a bit, and we're gonna pop them on. But look at that. It just adds a very subtle something. It's really nice. They're very comfortable. I feel like these are like the perfect daytime lash. If you're a lash wearer like daily and you wear them to go to work, this is like a great daytime and nighttime, but like a daytime lash. Okay, one is on. Let's pop on the second pair and then we'll move on to complexion. I'm gonna go back to that Benefit liner and just run tiniest bit. Even though the band is clear, you can still sometimes see a little like tiny remnants of the lash glue, and we just can't have that. So just run a little bit of your liner on top, or even just like a powder shadow, and you'll be able to disguise it. Okay, lashes are on. We can move on. Before we get into foundation, and again, I don't have, Vieve does not have a foundation. At least I didn't see one. No, they definitely don't have one. I think they might be working on one, maybe. I feel like I saw like a sneak peek or something at some point. Anyway, they don't have a foundation that I know of yet. So we're gonna be using an old school favorite of mine. It's the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. I'm gonna be using the shade 1.2 Medium Patagonia. We're gonna say that in a second. I'm gonna first do some underpainting. This was the beautiful cap that came on top of the cream bronzer. So this is the Vieve Modern Radiant Cream Bronzer. I picked up the shade Medium. And I'm gonna grab a clean N15 brush, dip into that bronzer, and I've heard amazing things about this bronzer, so I have been wanting to try this formula for, well, since they came out with it. So I'm so happy I finally have it. Oh yeah, that blends in so nice. Wow. Very creamy, very easy to work with. Has like a soft finish to it. Wow. That is pretty. So we're gonna do some underpainting in case you couldn't tell. And then I'm gonna go over top once we have the foundation on with the Vieve Powder Bronzer. It's the Modern Bronzer Duo. So we'll be placing that on top just to further enhance this underneath that we got going on. Sweeping it back and forth, very pretty. Just tapping it on. I have the itchiest nose today. I don't know what it is. Layering a touch more under my cheekbone. This is not a contour shade by any means. It's a very warm bronzer, as you can see. However, we're still using it in a way that's going to give a soft sculpted effect underneath the makeup. Now, switching my brush and going back to my N16 brush, I'm gonna dip back into that cream bronzer, pick up a little bit on either side of the brush, and we're gonna sweep this down and do some nose snatching. And let's go for it. Let's do a little underneath, even though this is a very warm bronzer. Underneath the foundation, it's gonna give us a slight lip contour. Just trust the process. So let me shake up my NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. And if you watch my huge foundation haul video that was just posted, you already know how much it pains me that there's no pump to this. Yes, you could buy it. That's beside the point. If you know, you know. I'll save you the rant. But just the whole like pouring it out onto a palette is just not fun. Okay, let's start with a small amount. Less is more, but the finish of this foundation, the way this looks on your skin, it's an old school foundation, let's be honest. It's been around for a very long time. It's not new by any means, but it is a fantastic, fantastic formula. I'm gonna go back to that same N17 brush, the lighter fiber side that still has remnants of that skin dew on it, which is totally fine. And we're gonna dip into the NARS Sheer Glow and just layer this on top. I love this foundation so much. I'm gonna buff into the rest of the forehead, tap it on top of that bronzer that we placed earlier. I can't wait for Vieve to have a foundation. I feel like they will just absolutely crush whatever formula they come out with. It will be a beautiful, beautiful formulation. I have no doubts about that. Skin is looking glowy. It's feeling nice and fresh. Now what I like to do is switch back over to the bronzer brush, the N15, and just tap back over the bronzer areas. Not really dipping into more product, I'm just using whatever's left over on that brush to kind of rework and bring that product back to life again. Lots of layers over here. I love to layer the makeup. Nice. Now we can go to back to the concealer. It's the, again, Modern Radiance concealer in the shade Light 4. So I'm gonna take this and of course apply this now in its intended use, which is to conceal, not just to use as an eyeshadow base. So I'm gonna pop this under my eye. Let's start small, because even that's probably too much. And let's grab a clean N16 brush and tap into this product. Blends out really nice. I had mentioned this previously, but this formula reminds me of a much better version of Tarte Shape Tape. Sorry, I said what I said. I'm not a fan of that concealer. However, I can understand what the appeal is with that concealer, and I feel like this concealer took that and made it better. You know what I mean? Like, it's a full coverage concealer, but it doesn't feel it and it doesn't look it. And yeah, I don't know. I love this formula. I think it's a really fantastic formula. You'll definitely be seeing me use this a lot, especially on the days that I'm more tired and I want to really cover up my dark circles. But look at that. That blends in so well. It's so pretty. I'm going to take a little bit more. In fact, I'm just going to do a little bit more nose contour. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the N16 that has the remnants of bronzer on it. Get a little more of this cream bronzer. I'm really feeling like a sculpted nose today. Okay, and then go back to the concealer N16 brush. Take a little bit on the tip of the brush from the applicator, just a really small amount. And I'm gonna use this to highlight the bridge of my nose. And just go straight down, just like that. Sorry, it's hard to show you this without blocking the view with my arm. Just a soft, subtle, cute nose highlight. I'm gonna take some more of this product and I'm gonna do some highlighting between the brow and the lower half of my forehead. Switching back to my N17, blend away. My skin is feeling just honestly lovely, like just lovely. I'm gonna take a teeny bit more, okay? I just wanna highlight, oop, I might have got a little too much. Just wanna highlight the top of my chin. Let's just do a little sculpty sculpt. And then we tap, tap, tap. So a little subtle cheek action. Now, I have been wanting to try this Sunset blush from Vieve. It's the Luminous Liquid Blush. It's a balm, basically. It's like a liquid balm. It's in the shade Rosa, and I can't wait for this. I really cannot wait for this. And this actually came along with this cute little lip dew. So I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit of this blush on the top of my hand, and I'm just gonna grab the lighter fiber side of my N17 and use the same brush to apply this product. It's very wet. Okay. Sunset Blush Balm. So it says in the back, it's a light buildable liquid blush which adds a natural veil of radiant color to the cheeks. Okay. It says to apply a small amount to cheeks, either alone or over makeup. Build up for a bolder blush. That is really pretty though. That's very soft. I can see what they mean by building it up. I feel like this goes on best on a very wet base, like the one I just started out with the NARS Sheer Glow. And also you'll notice too, I did not powder my under eyes yet because I knew this was going to be a very liquidy product. I'm actually going to take a little bit more and let's just see how well this layers. So same technique, same brush. Let's just pre-blend it and tap, tap, tap. I find myself saying tap, tap, tap in my head probably like 45 times a day. Whether I'm at work, working on clients, or doing my makeup at home, I find myself saying tap, tap, tap. And it's Mitch. Mitch started the tap, tap, tap. I can't get this out of my head. All I do is say tap, tap, tap. It's hilarious. And then you guys make comments and say tap, tap, tap. And then it's like so stuck in my head now. I can't get it out. All right, blush is pretty. I'll probably add a little bit more of the powder blush on top, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. And let's now dive into powders. Now I say powders because I still want to set my under eyes with my Givenchy Prism Leap powder in the shade number 3 because I don't know how this is going to wear underneath the eye, and I want to use this more as like a finishing powder just because I don't want to mess up this makeup and I'm going to be wearing it the rest of the day, and I want to avoid any user error. Okay, so don't hate me. I'm going to take my N14 brush. I'm going to dip into the Prism Leap powder, pick up a decent amount, tap it into my cap. This is like one of my preferred methods, or I'll even take this into the palm of my hand. And before I apply it, I'm going to blend out any creasing that might have happened. And then we're going to set and blur under the eyes. And then we'll go in with that modern, what's this called again? Modern Powder Perfector. Do a little more just to really brighten that area of my eye. And then we'll dust off the excess in just a bit. Avoid doing this if you have extremely dry under eyes, just a forewarning. My under eyes are not extremely dry. They can handle a really decent amount of powder without freaking out. So let's put that away. Now let's go into and dip into this beautiful pressed powder in the shade medium. That was the other reason why I didn't want to use it under my eyes initially, because I didn't want this to darken my under eyes in any way. So I want to keep this like really light and fresh under the eyes and maintain that. So for powder application, I'm going to grab a clean N17 brush and I'm going to use the darker fiber side. Yeah, could I use this one? I mean, it's got a little bit of foundation. I've used it for too many liquids at this point. So let's grab a clean one, dip into that beautiful powder, and let's start to, ooh, wow. So I'm using a swiping motion where I want to be very light-handed, but when I'm getting towards like that cheek, I'm tapping it on top so I don't disrupt that cream, or that liquid blush, I should say, underneath. Because that is a very wet formula blush, that is for sure. It's very liquidy. I'm going to powder above my lips. I'm going to avoid my nose pretty much entirely because I want to have that extra bit of glow just to give me more of like a skin-like finish. That's a very nice powder. Wow, feels very silky. Oh, that is nice. That is really nice for a pressed powder. Absolutely beautiful. I am so excited for this powder bronzer duo. I've wanted this for a long time. I'm gonna probably find that I'm using this primarily as an eyeshadow on myself. I could just tell. I know me. This is the Vieve Modern Bronzer Bronzing Duo. I have the shade medium 1 and medium 2. This is what it looks like. Gorgeous. So you have more of a slightly more neutral, I was gonna say cool tone leaning, but this is a nice neutral bronzing shade. So this could be more for like sculpting if you wanted to get that effect. And this looks like more of a soft, warm tone to really warm up your complexion and give you that bronzy, sun-kissed look. So I love that it's, you know, a dual where you get 2 different shades to kind of get like a custom look. And also sometimes we need 2 shades too, just to be totally honest. I'm gonna grab a clean N15 brush. And you know what I'm gonna start with? I'm gonna start with the warm one. I'm gonna start with the warm one, and we're gonna just do some layering on the top of our forehead just to bring out that cream bronzer one more time. And then let's take a little bit of the more sculpting shade, same brush. We're just gonna kind of loosely apply a bit more on the sides of my nose. I'm not grabbing a small brush because a small brush would make it a little bit more precise and a little more intense. And I want to just be a soft bronzy effect on my nose. You know, like kind of like I got like an actual suntan. Let's take a little bit now of, let's go back for the warm one. Let's just layer some more warmth along the outside of my complexion and along the sides of my cheeks. And you'll notice I'm not buffing because I do have quite a few layers of product now underneath this bronzer, and I want to be very mindful that I don't disrupt it and lift it up and make it look muddied. So just tapping it on, layering. This is a really beautiful formula though. I have to say, I feel like it's made my skin look really smooth. Yeah, that is stunning. It's like, it's a matte shade, but it's like, it's not flat. There's definitely some like hint of luminosity to it, if that makes sense, but it's not like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It kind of reminds me of like the Hourglass ambient lighting powders, but much more like actually matte. Very nice, very beautiful formula. Same brush. I'm just going to take a little bit on the tip of this brush because this brush is domed. So I'm gonna take the tip of it, dip into that more neutral shade, and let's do a little bit of sculpting, okay? I'm gonna do light pressure back and forth, just like that. Hindsight though, I don't know if I would use the liquid blush underneath this formula unless I really properly like locked it down. I wish I had locked it down a little bit more than I did. So there's a chance this might lift up. With whatever's left over, I'm going to sweep this under my jawline, just like that. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. Let's just go for it. Let's add that beautiful powder blush in the shade Pesca. It's like an orange, a really beautiful peachy orange, like a soft peach. Let's apply this also. Take the powder side of my N17, dip into Pesca. I love this packaging so much. And let's just tap it on top and get a little bit more blush peeking through. That is beautiful. Okay, this look needed this. I need some added warmth. Very pretty. Love it. Absolutely love. Because I can't help myself. Let's add a little bit to my nose. Very nice. Okay, it is time, don't you worry, to go back to the 90s palette. I'm going to start to layer a couple of these shades that I used in the crease on the bottom lash line to really finish up this look, to make it into a complete look. I'm going to first grab my N12 brush with BK Beauty. I'm going to dip into Phase. And Phase was that first shade that we used in the crease. And let's complete this eye makeup look. One thing about grays, okay, like grays and cool tone shadows, to me, I feel like they make my brown eyes look like they're black almost. Like they look so dark, so much darker than they typically do. Like if I wear like, let's say a purple or even like a caramel brown or even blue eyeshadows, and my brown eyes look so much more light and caramelly. But when I wear like cool tones, like gray cool tones, my eyes look, again, almost like they're as black as my t-shirt. I'm not sure what they're reading like on camera. Okay, now dipping into a bit of Supermodel, that more true gray shade. Ooh, that's really neat under the bottom lash line. That's pretty. Love it. Let's take a little bit of whatever. Same brush. And let's pack this a little bit tighter and only about halfway on the bottom lash line. Wow. Very impressed with this eyeshadow palette, I have to say. I'm very, very impressed. I want to do one more thing, okay? I want to do a little bit more of like the shimmer shade on a clean N12 brush. I'm going to take some setting spray. This one's just from Milani. It's like a great drugstore setting spray. Very inexpensive and very, very long lasting. And I'm going to take some more of Dial Up. Just a little bit more Dial Up. And I think I want to do, I just want to cut this inner part of my eye a bit more with the shadow. There we go. I say cut it because I want it to look almost slightly like we did a cut crease, like very, very slightly. Yeah, that's what I was missing. I just was missing something in this inner part of my eye. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this other eye. Wetting it first. I can't wait to play with this eyeshadow palette more. I do have a feeling I might put this in my pro kit because I have some gray shades in my pro kit, but I don't have like formulas that I'm really impressed with that I love, if that makes sense. So I think I might put this palette in my kit if I want to be selfless, that is. There we go. Wow. Wow, wow. That's what we're missing. I'm glad we figured that out together. It's definitely what we were missing. We could put this palette down. I'm gonna grab that YSL mascara one last time because I just want to blend these lashes a bit more, just a touch. I'm not doing bottom mascara. It's just a little too messy for my liking. There we go. Yes, that is it. That is exactly what I wanted for this eye makeup look. I have some gorgeous lip liners from Vieve, and one of which I actually bought a while ago. It's the shade Brat. I'm not going to use Brat for this tutorial, but I have so many other great ones. I'm also not going to use Rouge Rouge. I picked this up as well. Let me swatch it just so you can see it. It's a really beautiful, kind of like a wine shade. Like how gorgeous is that? I want to create a really fun look with this, and I don't have a lip liner that's like this, so I needed to get it, needless to say. I also have the shade Rumor. I'm probably going to be using Rumor. And I also have Aphrodite. Aphrodite I've been wanting for a long time. This is like a perfect neutral, like nude lip liner. Love that shade. And then let's see, Rumor is the one I'm more than likely going to use. So let me actually sharpen this one and let's apply Rumor. So Rumor is going to be a really gorgeous tone, and it's going to give me more of a 90s vibe, which I think is going to go great with this eye makeup. So I'm going to apply this all over and slightly blend out with my finger like I just did, just to soften it. Okay, even enough. And now for the crowning jewel of this whole tutorial, I got this lipstick in London and I've been obsessed with it ever since. I have been just dying to get this video filmed so I can like play with this more often. I was trying to save it a little bit for this video so it was more fresh and not like super used up. But anyway, it is a stunning lipstick. It's the Vieve Satin Slip Lipstick in the shade 90. Oh, 90 is so gorgeous. It's a beautiful, soft pink, and it just looks so great on top of that Rumor lip liner. So I'm gonna apply this all on top. Go back to my lip liner and blend the two a little bit more. I'm gonna apply a little bit more in the center of my lips, and that completes this full face using Vieve Cosmetics. hats off to Jamie Genevieve. I am obsessed with your makeup line. You did such an incredible job of your formulations and just the packaging, everything, the vibe. It is just, it speaks to me. I am so happy to have these products in my possession now and to be able to use them more often and to create more looks. I'm excited for that. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this beautiful, cool tone eye makeup look. I love the way the eyes came out. I think it's actually my favorite part of this whole look. The formula, everything was just so easy to work with and so impressive. So if you've tried any of these products from Vieve, leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I promise you to get the mascara and the eyeliner very, very soon for another video. We'll save it for a rainy day. But I hope you like this look. If you like videos like this where I do a full face of just one makeup brand, you can check out so many more right here. Leave me a suggestion. Tell me which brand you want to see a full face of next on my channel. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.